wish they get so out of my head, walking the edge. What am I falling into? Losing my cool, breaking my rules. I don't usually get so out of my head, walking the edge. What am I falling into? I'll meet again, where do we land? Tell me, is it too soon? Losing my cool, breaking my rules. I'm going crazy over you. Crazy, I'm going crazy. Crazy over you. Crazy, got me crazy.
had no home to rely on, driving around in a passenger van, dreaming of when I'd ever begin to start my life. That's when I moved to the city to be on the stage, but the curtain had closed. You walked in the room, and that's when I knew that I was home, and my life will begin. Didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. You took a flight from the desert to take up a room with a mutual friend. Couches and wine and everything's fine. Just one day at a time, and it gets you by. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Somebody like you. Somebody like you. I was just fading away till I met you. I was just notes on a page till I met you. I never imagined the day when I'd meet somebody like you. Couldn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Somebody like you. Somebody like you. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. I got a lot of lessons left to learn, but I'm not even close. Through my inhibition, I've become quite sure that
Good morning and welcome to Crossroads Church. Way to be on time this morning, guys. Look around the room. Well done. Well done, you. Hey, if you're joining us online, welcome. If you're in the room and you're able, will you please stand? We're going to sing this first song together. There's a radical love that is found in your life, and it's literally waiting for the chance to open your eyes. It's a radical thought to open your mind, holding all of your doubt and fear and making space for the light. Feel the change as we pray. May the God of hope fill our hearts with the joy and peace. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a living hope. May the God of grace fill our days and the Spirit lead. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a radical thing to be fully alive. In love and mercy, I'm waking up to see this wonderful life. May the God of hope fill our hearts with the joy and peace. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a living hope. May the God of grace fill our days and the Spirit lead. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a living hope. There's a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. There we go. I got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Sing that again. Deepest joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I've got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart. There's a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I've got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart. Deepest joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I've got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart. May the God of hope fill our hearts with the joy and peace. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a living hope.
May the God of grace
Fill our days and the Spirit lead. Let it be as we trust in love, living now in the overflow. What a living hope. As you take a seat, will you turn and say hi to someone else in the room?
I don't think your mic was on just now,
My
Kia.
mic was not on.
If everyone would like to just go ahead and have a seat, please. Thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome to Crossroads. My name is Melissa Malasa.
And I'm her lesser half, Michael Malasa. Yes, welcome. Thanks for coming on this beautiful summer morning. As you came in this morning, you should have received a program. If you didn't, just raise up your hand or give us a whoop whoop, and somebody will be happy to bring one to you. A program is a great weekly resource that tells you more about who we are as a church and what's going on around here. If you're looking for a digital resource, find everything you need in the Crossroads app Weekends section. The app is the best way to stay connected, and you can find an easy app download QR code in the program.
And inside that program is a Connect card. So this is a great time to go ahead, get out the Connect card or click on it if you're on the app. If you're a regular attender, just put your name, email address, and check the box regular attender. But if you're new here, just check the box I'm new here and fill in as much information as you feel comfortable sharing. Your name, email, the most embarrassing moment you had as a teenager, just the usual stuff. Be sure to hang on to that Connect card until the end of the service, though, because you might want to add a few things along the way.
Also in your programs, you'll find a giving envelope. One of our core values here at Crossroads is generosity. And your donations are helping to rewrite the 5 unacceptable truths of spiritual emptiness, poverty, illiteracy, fear of the other, and modern-day slavery, and create peace on earth through our programs and partnerships. So we have lots of ways to donate to the peacemaking work here at Crossroads. The giving envelope, texting, the website, and the app are all convenient and safe ways to give.
If this is your first time connecting this morning, we have a gift for you. It's a coffee or cocktail date with our senior pastor, Ryan. And as a bonus, we have a book for you called The God We Never Knew. It's especially helpful if you are dissatisfied or deconstructing ways to think about God that you were given when you were younger but no longer make sense to you. So please, on your way out of the auditorium this morning, pick up a copy from one of the tables by the doors, or better yet, come see us under the Fresh Perspective banner in the atrium right after our service.
Really, we really would love to meet you, answer any questions you have about our church, and just get connected. So if you are new, please do come say hi. And if you're connecting digitally for the first time, check the box on your digital Connect card, and we'll ship you that book this week. Well, that's all we have for you right now. Go ahead, grab your talk notes, your coffee, the person next to you, whatever. In just a minute, we'll continue with our teaching series, Unacceptable Truth.
Well, good morning, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jimmy Scruggs. I'm the executive pastor here, and I'm here to discuss the next unacceptable truth in this series, which is poverty. Our programming and production team gave me very specific instructions on how long we can take with the talk and with the interview this week, and Ryan did the interview, so I have a little bit of time. Oh, I'm out of time. Okay. No, all kidding aside, I am really thankful for Ryan's spiritual guidance and leadership, and I give him a hard time about length of time, but I really do appreciate him. Darren, if you could do me a favor, cut that out of the on-demand version. We do not want him to hear me make a compliment of him. All right, so seriously, I want everybody to remember that acceptable behavior often leads to unacceptable truths. Today we're looking at poverty, so what is the acceptable behavior? Some people will hold the belief that the poor are lazy or looking to avoid a hard day's work, or that poor people just had bad parents, or that all you have to do to get ahead is to put in hard work. See, Mia Birdsong in her TED Talk, the story that we tell about poverty isn't true, gives many examples of the ingenuity of those in poverty looking for solutions. See, poverty is the unacceptable truth, and poverty also is a social justice issue. I hate to do this, but let's look at some statistics, right? These show the reality of poverty. On planet Earth, right? Let's look globally. There are at least 828 million people affected by hunger. 828 million people affected by hunger, yet there's enough food produced or grown to feed the entire population with ease. Over 700 million people live below the international poverty line. Do we all know what that is? It's $1.90 a day is the international poverty line. So maybe looking globally is a little hard for us to relate to. What about if we look at the United States? So according to the Census Bureau, 11.5% or 37.9 million people in the United States, Americans, live below the poverty line. No Kid Hungry, the charitable organization, states that 1 in 5 children in this country are at risk of hunger. Maybe we should shrink it down a little bit. What about Colorado? Everything's got to be better in terms of this state, right? Well, actually 11.1% of Coloradoans live below the poverty line. It's even more dire for our marginalized communities, with the Black community at 14%, our Latinx community and residents disproportionately impacted at 16%. Colorado is a big state, so let's get closer to home. What about Loveland? In Loveland, 5.7% live below that poverty line. And it's disproportionate for our disabled community that sees 9.2% living below the poverty line. 13% of children in Larimer County are food insecure. I'll even bring it closer. See, at the height of my mental health issues, as someone that was undiagnosed and untreated with bipolar, there were many times that my family would have become unhoused. The only thing stopping that from happening were parents, grandparents, in-laws that either paid our rent or took us in. My grandmother brought us groceries so that on numerous occasions to ensure our kids were properly fed. And see, not everybody has that luxury. For many, poverty is multi-generational. Poverty is complex and personal. If you're filling in, this is one of those fill-ins for you. For many of us, probably even some of us in this room, one event, one tragedy, a lost job, a health emergency, many other reasons can lead to that economic hardship. Complexity is that poverty is a living system. It's not easy to fix. It's not like changing the tires on the car. It's like doing surgery, caring for the human body and all of its interests. Things are getting more expensive. Many live in fear of that tragedy or just rising prices that don't see rising wages. But poverty is more than those statistics that I gave you. Poverty is cyclical. When a family becomes impoverished, it almost always leads to 3 generations of impoverishment, if not longer. Many people move in and out of poverty as circumstances in their life change. There are multitudes of reasons that people move into poverty. I named some: mental health issues, disability, being downsized, working for a minimum wage that cannot be classified as a living wage, the color of your skin, your documentation status, the country you were born in. The list goes on. There are many entry-level points for poverty. Because it's always existed, there is a tendency to accept it. But what does Scripture tell us about it? Scripture shows us that the earliest peacemakers took seriously the mandate to care for the poor. As Christians, we can look at the wisdom of Scripture to guide us in our behavior of overcoming this unacceptable truth. In Isaiah 1:17, we're called to learn to do good, to seek justice, to help the oppressed, defend the cause of orphans, fight for the right of widows. Jesus himself was poor, and he lived among the poor, showing us the inherent dignity in which each person should live regardless of their economic status. In Matthew 25, Jesus instructs us to care for the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, the imprisoned, emphasizing that whatever we do for the least of these, we do for him. In verse 33, it states that he will place the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. The early church lived this out in a radical way. Acts 2, verses 44 and 45 tell us that the early believers held all things in common, distributing to each as they had need. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in needs. That may not have been a new idea at that time, but we saw them live into the Jewish tradition. We saw them living out the ideas of Isaiah 1. These earliest peacemakers took seriously the mandate to care for the poor. So what can we do as peacemakers? The first thing is education and awareness. We must educate ourselves and others about the root causes of poverty and the impact of systemic injustices. Privilege can make it easy to ignore these factual causations. Another step's advocacy. Advocate for policies that promote economic justice, that promote fair wages, that promote affordable housing and access to health care. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25, and that's what it has been for the last 15 years, even though prices have increased. For tip workers, employers only have to pay $2.13 an hour. That wage of $7.25, if you're working full-time, represents about $15,000 a year. In 2021, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that if we were to incrementally raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025, it would benefit 17 million workers. It would decrease unemployment by 1.4 million people. It also lift 900,000 people out of poverty and might raise wages for as many as 10 million workers. What else can you do? You can support local initiatives with your time, talent, and treasure. Support local organizations and initiatives that provide direct assistance to those in need, such as a food bank or a homeless shelter or a job training program. But finally, get proximate. Build relationships with those experiencing poverty. Listen to their stories. Offer support. Offer solidarity. This is how we provide dignity. Education, advocacy, and generosity can transform poverty into financial and physical flourishing. Working these steps can move us from the unacceptable truth of poverty to a reality of flourishment. We can get closer to the vision of peace on earth. We can do the work to overcome this unacceptable truth. But we must understand that dignity flourishes when poverty diminishes. In the way that Jesus brought dignity to the poor, that he surrounded himself with, we can do these simple steps to provide more dignity and help see poverty diminish. This past week, Ryan sat down with Cherry Houle from one of our partners in Hope, House of Neighborly Service. Let's take a break for just a moment and listen to the interview and hear their perspective and more about the work they do.
Well, Cherry, thank you so much for sitting down with us. And I know you've said the camera is not something you necessarily enjoy. So thank you very much for having the courage and sharing with us. I know you've also said we're not experts on poverty, and that's okay. I think you guys are experts, are experts on caring. And that, I think, is a huge part of it. So we're excited for the conversation. Before we jump in, take a minute, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. One of the things we say is, like, what do you do in your everyday normal peacemaking life? And so we know your everyday normal life is here, but how did you intersect with this work? Maybe a little bit about yourself that you feel comfortable sharing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I started with House of Neighborly Service about a little over 8 years ago, and I came here to be a caseworker. So I actually I'm a mom of 4, and I was in ministry some. I worked in retail for years and years, and then I also homeschooled some. I now have 2 grandkids, and 3 out of my 4 kids are married, and I've been married for 38 years. So life is full and busy, and I just love people. So I'm all about just having a good time, taking hikes, taking walks, being real. And my work here is a big part of my life. I've been kind of flowed through H&S through development. I worked in our homeless program, our homeless family program, Family Promise, and then ended up taking this job. Even though I said I never wanted this job, it just pulled at my heart because of this mission. The simplicity of this mission moves my spirit. So
maybe we start there. Like, tell us about the mission of.
Absolutely. To talk about the mission, you almost got to go back to the history, which is very quick. First of all, do you want me to look here or there?
Wherever you want to look, you're good. No problem.
Anyway, the mission of House of Neighborly Service started 63 years ago. And it started when Loveland, believe it or not, was about the size of a little under 10,000 people here. And there were 13 churches called the Council of Churches, and people in need would go from church to church to church. The churches figured this out because resources were being depleted, and they all came together. I call it the first act of collaboration that they did, and they said, let's do this better. Let's form House of Neighborly Service. So that was when the Caring Neighbor movement started. And it has gone on for 63 years. I will always say to people, what we're doing here is we are stewarding a movement that belongs to the people. We actually come alongside neighbors who are in need. That's how we like to simplify it. Crisis is not a taboo. Even being in poverty is not a taboo. Yeah. You go through tough times, but we want to have a culture where you can come and you can get resources. You can talk about what you're going through. You can intersect with people who actually care and empathize. And then we give out those resources that actually belong to the community. We're almost 70% of what we are given is through churches and businesses and individuals and trust who are individuals. And then our food is a huge portion. So, and that's given through food drives. So it's
That's
this
amazing.
community, this caring neighbor movement that's been going on, caring neighbors reaching into their pockets, giving, caring neighbors reaching into their closets, giving clothing, reaching into their cupboards, giving food, and it still carries on, and it has a power to that movement.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Over 60 years, you've been here, 8 of those. So you have seen a lot. And we talk a lot about poverty as a
Yes.
cycle. There's realities to it. It's a living system. It's very complex. But maybe share a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of like the last few years, 2 or 3 years, let's say. What changes have you seen as it relates to being, a caring neighbor, as it relates to the reality that which people are living in?
Yeah, the last 5 years, I was looking back over, we all know when we say 3 to 5 years, we think of COVID.
Sure.
It intersects there. But we've actually, in the last 5 years, have seen a 300, I wrote this down, 5 years ago, we've had a 356% increase, which is unbelievable. We are seeing more and more people struggling, and it's because even if it's not a poverty issue, even if they don't have chronic financial issues, they are struggling with mental health issues, or they're struggling with relationship issues. The complexity of what I deem as kind of a perfect storm right now. Your food is up, your utilities are up, your rent goes up, and then your kids, we have the complexities of all our electronics and navigating through relationships. And so you might need counseling but can't afford counseling. You might need health resources but can't afford health resources. And so you're figuring out all these complex issues, and that's what we're seeing is people coming in and saying, hey, I made it through COVID, but everything's gone up and my job's not paying.
Yeah.
What the difference there?
Yeah.
Or my kids are struggling and I'm not connecting. Here's some trends we're actually seeing. One that we saw through COVID, which I think is a beautiful thing for you to hear because you sound like a people who would really care about this. We're seeing a disconnect as far as loneliness and depression. We know depression's been around, but this loneliness and disconnect, lack of community, we started seeing that and we started identifying it as a trend. People were coming in after they received services, but on a regular basis, they were coming in to say, hey, I just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. I just want to let you know my dog's okay. I just wanted to say hi. Bye. And we started identifying it as this trend of, okay, wait a minute, what is this? And we identified that it was a community connect that they were needing. They had their community severed during COVID. They were struggling to build back. Church looks different. They don't know. They're struggling who they are and how to fit back in. So we define this need for community as one thing. We also are seeing grandparents trending, raising their grandkids. That's a new thing we're seeing. We're seeing seniors and homelessness happening at a troubling rate. So seniors are not being able to afford. If they're on a fixed income, it doesn't work with the rise of everything. You just can't take that on. So we're seeing, and seniors typically won't let you know they're homeless. They won't even let their families know. So we're seeing some trends like that on the increase over the last 5 years. And the other thing we're seeing is families moving in together. That's not such a bad thing, but it's definitely a need. We're seeing families, generations moving together. We're also seeing families that don't even know each other moving together, or problem solving. 2 single moms saying, I'm not making it, are you? Let's do this together. Let's figure this out. Let's move in together. So I call it a genius community problem solve, but at the same time, it is on the rise.
Yeah.
Because they're just not
Absolutely.
surviving.
And those solutions then produce different types of hardships,
Correct.
different types of
Dynamics.
emotional wearing down. So like the solution itself presents different problems, hence the complexity in a living system. It's like
Correct.
you simply because you solve this housing problem or
Exactly.
solve the bill, that doesn't mean
No.
that oh well, everything's okay.
No, it doesn't mean that your two families know how to live together,
Right.
or that all the kids now
Yeah.
can function
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And many times, then other problems are buried because you
Oh,
just
yeah.
aren't going to see them.
Yeah.
You know, or how do you divide bills, or how do you?
Yeah, that's super insightful. Thank you for that. Thanks for giving a face to a word that it can be problematic,
Yeah.
like poverty. Poverty as a sociological construct is probably helpful, but as a label is very unhelpful, right? And what can come as like a stigma and things like that. So, like as we talk about this word poverty and this construct and all this, folks that come in for services that find out about resources, like would they kind of self-identify and think about themselves as like I'm in the poverty class, or what are you seeing in that?
Not at all. I don't think so. I actually think that word might, if I were to say it to them, it would be insulting to them.
Sure.
They would find it insulting simply because they identify, many of them that come in identify themselves as working hard. Or many of them that come in, they're trying to work 2 jobs and something on the side. They're trying to sell stuff on eBay. I have seen so many people who pass through here that are very industrial, that are trying everything they can to problem solve and help their life be better. They're working hard to do that. We do have those that are exhausted.
Yeah.
And just are at their wits' end. And they're drained, they're numb, they don't know what to do. They come in for any type of advice that we can give, any type of what I call doors of possibility. And that's what we will connect them to here. We'll not only give resources, but we'll also connect them to possibilities, because there's always doors of possibility. There's all sorts of nonprofits here. There's all sorts of opportunities. But again, that takes energy. That takes self-motivation. And many times we are finding that people are just drained. They're trying to trying to keep everything together and do the best they can, and to even dream or even think about opening a door of education, as an example. Just seems like that is a bridge too far for me.
Even if the opportunity or the access is there, there's and maybe that comes to things that we talk about of acceptable beliefs or behaviors that continue to perpetuate exclusionary ideas and oppressive things around poverty, like this idea that people who are impoverished are lazy, or they are uneducated, or they just don't care, and those things are just not true. The exact opposite. There's a massive difference between being emotionally and mentally and physically exhausted from trying to survive thing happening to you after thing happening to you, and laziness. Those are 2 very different things.
Yeah.
And part of what is beautiful about, I think, your work and this education is to recognize we have to address those mental models that live inside of us that create the stigmas that then say, well, people get what they deserve if you just work hard. Like, these are all things that are they're so popular, and they encompass a certain segment of our hearts but it's just the absolute untruth.
It many times, point blank, it's judgment.
Yeah.
You're just judging something you don't know. Yeah. Many times we'll say, we got to hear the story. Yeah. Tell us your story. Tell us what happened, because we have no idea what you've been through. We have no idea what obstacles were in your way, what you've overcome. So many times it's just so easy to take a snapshot of something we see and judge it. And quite frankly, a lot of times we misjudge it. Oh, yeah. Because we just don't know. We just don't know the story. And so once you get to hear that story, once you get to understand their journey and their process and where they've been, it's lovely to come alongside them with these resources. We here don't fix everything. We're here to bring along those resources, to connect them to doors of possibility, to opportunities, but we're also here to inspire them. That's one of the things that we are excited about because hope inspires. And when you create a culture, which is our heart here, is to have a culture of care and a culture of touch points, no matter who they are, no matter what their color is, no matter what their sexual preference is, no matter, we want them to come in here and feel honor. We want them to feel dignity. We want them to feel valued and heard. And we want them to know that they were created for a reason. And so we want them to feel that human dignity when they come in here. So our whole culture, we anchor to honor, and you will find those touch points every place you go in this building. And we want them to have that simplicity of being a caring neighbor. It's kind of a Mr. Rogers thing, and it's very simple, but it works. People need to be inspired right now, and they need to know there's a community that actually cares and that sees the value in their life. And so
Such a good word,
yeah,
dignity that you
dignity,
said, those
it's
things.
important.
So, like, man, I could just talk about the character quality of the work, the philosophy around the work. I could talk about that forever, but let's jump into what are some of the like practical ways that you all are actually addressing needs. Like, what are those services that you bring with the caring heart and the dignity? What are a few of those maybe?
First layer services are H&S services, which I'll go over, and second layer services are our mission of the Life Center, which is the partnership with all of the other agencies. There's 21 agencies in the Life Center, and we collaborate with them, and we partner with them, and we actually oversee the Life Center. So it's a part of the work of H&S. But our first services are concrete services. So they're going to come in here and have access to a food room, which they can get a week's worth of groceries. And those groceries our package was actually designed and created by CSU to come up with non-perishable foods that are actually more healthy, possibly in meals. And then we also have meat. We have fresh vegetables that gardeners bring. We have stores drop off items. They have, even though many of our packages are put together, our groceries, we call it a food basket, but you're leaving with groceries. But even though those are put together, you have choice. So we have a section that you can choose different items that you want. If you are a diabetic, if you have food allergies, if you need gluten-free, we can make those baskets according to your needs. We also have pet food. And we have a partnership, several amazing partnerships. One of those are dairy. So we get fresh, organic milk, which is very tasty, very good. We like to aim toward nutrition, and that's our heart and desire. Many prepackaged foods, that's tough, but we're aiming towards that, and especially in our asks. And then you also have clothing. So we have a clothing room. Clothing cost, you step into a store, if you want to buy a pair of tennis shoes, for example, and you have 4 kids, you might have to take out a small loan. It's expensive now if you want ones that last. And so we have a clothing boutique that we take in items, and that both the food room and the clothing room take about 45 volunteers a week to run them, 100 plus volunteers to run this work here for H&S here. And we gave away last year alone 121,000 articles of clothing. If you just put $10 per item on that, it's over $1 million. And that means they sorted more like 350,000. So they can come in and get clothing for their whole family on a monthly basis, and that's all free. They can get fuel. They can get prescriptions. We also work with the city, so we vet their Chilson. We can give Chilson discounted passes, and then we can also give utilities. So there's a checklist of a whole bunch of things that we have access to give them. We also have other programs. We have a Family Promise program here, which is for families experiencing homelessness. And just to be brief, it's got a day center here that they can access. We have a shelter program that can take 4 families at a time. And then we also have a Bridge House program. House of Neighborly Service has access to 5 homes that we use. So, and we have a PAT program, which is the early childhood program. We have our Birthed program. We've been in Birthed 35 years. So we have quite a few different programs that we can, what we call, again, those doors of possibility.
Lots of doors of
Send them through.
possibilities.
Family Navigators, also, I'll mention that too. We have Family Navigators who has a grant through the Department of Human Services. So we have actually degreed, they're not social workers, but they're navigators that can come alongside a family a long term and really help them with issues, connect them to counseling, connect them to resources, but walk alongside them. So we have different bridges that they can go across if they need more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, we could talk forever, but here's
Yes.
where it hits. Like, one last question, because one of the things that we say is, you know, our faith tradition understands and experiences the divine not in victory but in suffering. That we are the closest we will ever be to transformation, to change, when we're in the presence of those hungering and thirsting for righteousness or justice or healing. So where there's suffering, there's the divine present, ready to transform us into kind, generous, caring people. And until we're proximate, we're not. We're doing religion, right? We're all that stuff. So how does somebody get proximate, right? How could people in our faith community, their friends, people in our community, how can we get proximate to the solution? How can we get proximate to the pain, the suffering, as it relates to the work you're doing? What are ways that they're partnering, come alongside, see the work? What does that look like? How would that happen?
I love that. One of the closest ways to that, the most practical way, is to volunteer. We do have 201, and that's probably a stat. I've been saying that now for several months, so it's probably 220 now, but we have over 200 volunteers to do the work that we do. So volunteering is a good way to come alongside, be the hands and feet, literally come in here and work with the food, work with the clothing, come face to face with those who are going through issues, and get to say hi to them, get to be kind to them. It's one of the most practical ways to serve. You can also become a caring neighbor through donating. Do a food drive. Do a food drive. Food is one of our greatest needs, and we last year, in the amount of food, it equaled to almost $700,000 worth of food. So please, call on your community members, do a church food drive, your businesses, your neighborhood. We've had neighborhoods do them.
It's set up for our food drive.
Yes, it's
I love
wonderful.
It. That's good.
So that's great.
It matters.
Yeah, and then we actually need clothing donations along with the food, and we also need Caring Neighbor monthly donors. I am always saying, become a monthly donor. The work that we do here, it's big donors are fabulous and lovely, but the more Caring Neighbor monthly donors that we can get, the more of us that can give smaller amounts, but that can sustain the work that's needed here, so that keeps going on for another 60 years. It makes it possible. If all of us neighbors are giving just a little bit, giving up one meal, giving up a cup of coffees even,
Right.
Cost a lot now for coffee.
Right.
So give up a cup of coffees and make that a monthly donation, and that impacts the life. And it impacts the lives also because they need to know that this isn't just a nonprofit behind them. Remember, it's a Caring Neighbor movement. I tell them all the time, I tell the people that come in here, I say, listen, a whole community's behind you. There's a whole community that cares about what you're going through. And that's why we exist, because they're caring neighbors and a community that actually cares about your situation.
I love it. And we are grateful to partner with you. I know as a church, it means a lot to us, and we're grateful to hear the work and to be our little part of it, and hopefully to see that grow. And thank you so much, Cherry, for taking the time to be with us today. I know you are very, very busy, but it's such an important topic. It's important work, and it's one of those things that we as a church feel like this is what it's all about. This is why we do what we do. So wonderful.
Thank you for what you do.
Well,
we appreciate you.
Love it.
We are so appreciative of Cherry and taking the time to sit down with Ryan, and we are really proud to partner with such an organization. They're doing such great work, and to help to overcome the acceptable truth that we're talking about today. On your Connect card, there's a section called What is God Inviting You Into on the back. And as you're filling out the Connect card, if you want to check any of these boxes before you turn them in, that's great. The first one is to watch Mia Birdsong's TED Talk. The story we tell about poverty isn't true. And if you'd like to watch that TED Talk, you can do the Google search on your own, but if you'll check that box, we'll be happy to get the link sent to you this week. Here you'll be able to hear the stories of the ingenuity of people that are trying to overcome the personal struggles that they have. The second option there is to write letters to your representatives, whether it's asking them to increase wages, more money for training and education, more access to nutritional foods or affordable housing. You can encourage your politicians to do more for the fight against poverty. Another box there is I will donate my treasure to rewrite these unacceptable truths. And there's a bunch of different options for doing that. One is on your giving envelope today, you can give to the benevolence fund here at Crossroads. Or giving to Crossroads helps us to provide better wages for our teachers that are often living paycheck to paycheck. You can donate clothes, diapers, food to the parents of our children here at the daycare and preschool that are struggling to make ends meet. You can give to the Partners in Hope Ministry, another option you can check there on your giving envelope, and you'll see a portion of your dollar go to multiple organizations that are looking to overcome these unacceptable truths that we're discussing in this series. Or give to the organization of your choice, one that's working in a way that you feel personal about. The last one is I will give my time to become proximate to those struggling. You can volunteer here for the bread team. You can volunteer with our Hope Builders ministry. You can volunteer at some of our partners like Community Kitchen or House of Neighborly Services. Maybe the Larimer County Food Bank, or really any organization of your choice. So now we are going to move to our time of communion. Each week we share in communion together. It's a symbol, a metaphor. We have the opportunity to view the sharing of communion as a way to encourage us to work to overcome poverty. See, the elements are going to be located at either your tables or at the corners of the room. And please remember that this is a table for everyone. Everyone is welcome to partake. Sharing in communion reflects a commitment to inclusivity, solidarity, things that are essential in addressing the exclusion and the isolation often experienced by those in poverty. The sacrificial aspect of communion inspires us to reconsider our own material excesses and encourage a more equitable distribution of resources. The communal nature of communion challenges us to build supportive networks and foster community resilience, crucial for combating the social isolation and marginalization that perpetuate poverty. The transformative experience of communion, where bread and wine become symbols of nourishment and substance, guide us in advocating for policies and practices that ensure basic needs are met for all individuals and all communities. The body of Christ broken for you, the blood of Christ spilled for you.
I could just sit and wait for all your goodness, hope to feel your presence. And I could just stay right where I am and hope to feel you, hope to feel something again.
I could hold on to who I am and never let you change me from the inside. I could be safe here in your arms and never leave home. never let these walls down.
You have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. You have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord, where you lead me.
I could hold on, I could hold on to who I am and never let you change me from the inside. I could be safe, I could be safe here in your arms and never leave. Oh, never let these walls down. You have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. You have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord.
Where you lead me, where you lead me, Lord. I will be yours, oh, I will be yours for all my life. I will be yours, oh, I will be yours for all my life. I will be yours, oh, I will be yours for all my life. So let your mercy, oh, I will be yours, Lord, I will be yours for all my life. So let your mercy light the path before me. 'Cause you have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. You have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. And you have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. And you have called me higher, you have called me deeper, and I'll go where you will lead me, Lord. Where you lead me, where you lead me, Lord. Where you lead me, where you lead me, Lord.
I wanna know you, Lord, like I know a friend. I wanna know you, Lord. I wanna know you, Lord, like I know a friend. I wanna know you, Lord. So I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I wanna know you, Lord. I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I wanna know you, Lord.
I invite you to stand. Te quiero conocer como a un amigo. te quiero conocer. Te quiero conocer como un amigo. Te quiero conocer. Así que rindo a ti toda mi religión. Me rindo yo por conocerte en Dios. Así que rindo a ti toda mi religión. Me rindo yo por conocerte, Dios, por conocerte, Dios.
Lord, I've been told to be ashamed. Lord, I've been told I don't measure up. Lord, I've been told I'm not good enough, but you're here with me.
I reach out and you find me in the dust. You say no amount of untruths can separate us. I reach out and you find me in the dust. You say no amount of untruths can separate us. I will rejoice. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. Yo simple, me alegraré en ti, Señor. Me alegraré, Evangelio simple. Me alegraré en ti, Señor. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord.
God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the amazing people that make up this band up here. The countless hours they spend behind the scenes, coming in all times of day and night, during the week, every week, to learn, rehearse, practice, so they can come in on these Sunday mornings and lead us in worshiping and praising you. Thank you for their servant hearts. Amen. Now, if you were here last weekend, you probably heard about a big party that's coming up in just a couple weeks. Please go ahead and have a seat. Check out this video about this cool party. Doesn't that look like fun? Well, we are so excited. Yes, indeed. John's excited. We're so excited to throw a summer bash for our neighbors. That's right, Crossroads are throwing a huge party on Sunday, July 21st. And since we're throwing a party that big, Melissa, I bet there are a lot of opportunities for people to jump in and help.
Absolutely. First, you can attend. Bring your kids, your neighbors, your friends, the more the merrier. And second, you can volunteer. We need volunteers in many different areas, from food prep to setup to guest services. Really, anything you can do would be helpful. And if you're unavailable the day of the bash, there are plenty of ways you can volunteer in the days leading up to it. And third, you can donate.
That's right, because I'd really like a convertible Miata for the rest of the summer. Zoom?
Actually, it's because of generous donations to Crossroads Church that we are able to host these kinds of community events throughout the year.
And finally, perhaps you're a business owner and you'd like to set up a sponsorship for the party. Maybe you can sponsor one of our inflatable bounce houses or our live DJ. If you connect with us, our team can help you decide the best way to get your name out in front of people. So if you'd like to get involved, either through volunteering or sponsorship, check that box on your Connect card and our team will be in touch with you shortly. Now in just a minute, we're gonna call the room host forward to receive donations and Connect cards. So while you're getting that ready, we want to remind you about the Crossroads Meetup series.
The Meetup series is just that. It's a chance for you to meet up with other Crossroads friends at local events. This week, on Friday, July 5th, we'll be at Centera, where there's going to be a concert for the Long Run Band, a band that is an Eagles tribute band. You can find more information and more details in the app. Be sure to pick up one of these summer cards. This has all of the events in our summer meetup series, as well as other local events. And of course, you can stay connected with the Crossroads app to find all the news and information going on.
And one final note, we have I have a little delicious bit of news for you. We have some special treats out in the atrium this morning to kick us off with this whole Independence Day holiday week. Our own Cameron McKenna, sitting right over here. Cameron, if you want to raise your hand. She has personally baked some homemade apple pies that are out in the atrium for our meet and mingle time. Yes, see if you can beat me to it. So thank you, Cameron. Can't wait to dig into that. And with that, we'll have the room host come forward to receive donations and Connect cards, and we'll get you out of here shortly. Thanks.
There's a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I've got this joy, 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 joy
So I went so fast earlier that I made up so much time that I've got a couple of minutes left here. So I think I'll add on to the sermon. What do you think? No? There's a little bit of clapping, but not enough for me to actually do it. So, dear friends, as we conclude our reflections today, I want to leave you with a blessing. So if you'd like to remain standing, I thank you. You feel free to do that. If you'd like to sit, you can do that as well. If you'd like to open your arms to receive this blessing, you may. May you remember that overcoming poverty is not just a distant dream, but a present reality that we are all called to actively participate in. May you see that we can begin to build peace on earth, a kingdom where poverty has no place and all are cherished and beloved children of God. May you go forth from this place with renewed commitment and courage, knowing that God goes before us, guiding us in our efforts to create a more just and compassionate world. May you have strength, wisdom, and grace as you continue to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, bringing light to the darkness and hope to those in despair. And whatever space you are living in today, may you feel dignity and flourish in the days, weeks, and months to come. May the peace of Christ dwell richly in your heart, now and always. Thank you. Best wishes. Have a wonderful week.